Welcome back to another video review. Today we're going to be taking a closer look at the KJW KP-01 full metal CO2 version airsoft pistol. Alright, so this is a replica of the Sig Sauer P226. As mentioned, it's the CO2 version, and since I live in Canada, I have also the Canadian version. Alright, so basic art on the front of the box with some basic information. Let's open it up. Inside, you get a manual, and inside the manual shows how to fill up the magazines, how to field strip it, also a blow-up diagram with all the part numbers. Underneath that, there was this blow-up diagram of the CO2 magazines and how to take them apart and fix them and such with all their part numbers. And I also want to mention that inside the magazine here, it shows the green gas version. So you have all the information you need for repairing and taking apart and re-putting back together. Also included is just a pamphlet with all the different pistols that they make. I noticed that everything that's in here is gas blowback and uses green gas or CO2. While I have this out, right here, as you can see, there's an E2 version, and the only difference between just the regular KP-01 and the E2 is basically the grips have a slender feel to them. They're for smaller hands, so different grips, but my understanding is all the internals are the same. Inside the box though, it also comes with a green gas and CO2 mag, comes with both mags supposedly. So that's the only differences I know between the two versions. Also to note, while this is the CO2 version that I got here in Canada, I can also buy green gas mags to work with this model as well. Alright. Next, you have your unjamming rod and your speed loader. So basically you fit this on top of your mag, load this full of BBs, and it's like a plunger system, and you load your BBs. Comes with 2 Allen keys, which I'll get into in a little bit, and a small box of .20 BBs, and then the pistol itself. Pistol just comes in this plastic bag, and then inside you've got your pistol and magazine. Alright, so to start off with the magazine, as mentioned, this is the CO2 version. It fits 23 to 24 BBs. Since this is CO2, it had to be, I guess, a little bit longer. It's got to be a little bit thicker for the end cap to fit the CO2 in. And screw that down, which is right here. So that comes to the first Allen key, which is the largest one. So that's for this right here, so that you can screw your CO2s in and tighten them down. Also to mention about this magazine is while a real steel Sig Sauer will use 15 rounds, it'll have like a base cap that's a little bit shorter than this. On this version, I really like this about this, is that this would be a 15 round plus a 2 round extender. So that's what this is mimicking right here. So not bad. And just in case I didn't mention it, it can hold 23 to 24 BBs in there. So not bad. Alright, so the pistol itself, double action pistol, so the trigger can be pulled and it'll fire. You can cock it. Right here, this is the decocker, so if your weapon is ready to fire, you can put it to safe and decock it. Something I like about how this whole mechanism works, it does work like the real steel. As you can see, the hammer is sitting a little bit back further. So if I was to fire it, you can see the hammer is fully seated now. So I like that that functionality is the same as the real steel. You have your slide catch and slide release, and then your takedown lever and your magazine release right here. All right, so one thing to note that's a little bit different, as you can see, there's this cutout, which is like the real steel. The real steel, you would pull back and then you would adjust your takedown lever here, you turn it, and then you take the pistol apart. On this one though, however, to take down, you just pull down the lever and it comes apart. So there's some of the internals, if any of you guys are curious. Since this is CO2 version, it's got the red nozzle, so it's a little bit sturdier. It's reinforced so that it can handle the CO2. You got your spring and spring guide, and then your barrel. Right here is where your hop up is. You got your little wheel here, so you can turn it up and down and adjust your hop up if you wish. And then putting it back together, you got to make sure that this is in its proper slot. There's a little pin or square piece on it that fits into a little groove on the outer barrel shell here. So you got to make sure when you're putting it back together that's lined up and in there, because when you use the takedown lever, what happens is this piece gets pushed up and then when you take it off. So make sure that that piece is back down. That'll make it easier for putting it back together. Putting it back together, pretty simple. Slide that on. Usually what I do is I just bring it back a little bit so that this is showing a little bit. And there you go. Ready to go. So yeah, I really like all the functionality of this pistol, the realism of it. It's got some good weight to it. Then the other Allen key that comes with it is a smaller one. And this is for your front sight post. There's a little Allen key or Allen screw right there. Put this in, you can undo it. And that way, if you need to adjust your front sight post, you can. It's airsoft, so BBs, they fly wherever they want to fly, pretty much. You can get them narrowed down all right, but they're not going to be exact. All right, so I'm just going to pause here, and I'm going to do some FPS tests on this. All right, so I got everything set up here. I'm going to turn on my chrono, put on my safety goggles, just to be safe. I got this magazine loaded with a couple rounds of the .20s. Let's see how it does. So as you can see with .20s, that runs pretty hot. It's running in the 400 range. When the rounds are expelled from here and there's none left, as you can see, the slide will lock back like the real steel version. Pull down, put into safe, release mag. All right, so I hope this video was interesting. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Please subscribe. Have a great day, have a great week, and take care.